This is a do or die situation. If you lose, the biggest tournament goes out of your grasp. That is what the India women's hockey team are currently facing at this point in time. Remember, they had dominated the semi-final only to lose in the pressure clutch moments against Germany. Because of this, Germany and USA, the two teams against whom India have lost in this FIH Hockey Olympic Qualifiers, now face a do or die situation in the third place playoff that will happen today against Japan. Now, as we have been telling you, the top three teams from this particular FIH Hockey Olympic Qualifiers makes the trip to Paris. Because remember, at the same time, there is an FIH Hockey Olympic Qualifier happening even in Valencia as well. So, if India don't win today, then all the 8 years of the hard work that has been done ever since 2016 Rio will be undone in a spectacular way. India almost could have won the game against Germany. As I had mentioned, they were 1-1, but they conceded a goal in the last 3 minutes remaining, but somehow India found a way back. But now they are going to face a very tricky opponent in Japan. Now, these are the dynamics that I'm going to present to you as we head into this crunch game today, which will happen at 4:30 p.m. IST. Remember, India versus Japan, they will fight it out for the third place playoff. India must win to seal the Paris Olympic spot. If they win, the ticket to Paris is confirmed. If they lose, the dream is over. They cannot get to Paris. And India will be heading into this match as the favorites because they have a very good record against Japan. In the past, if you look at it, in the last 5 years, India have managed to put on a spectacular showing against Japan. Because remember, in this head-to-head, it's India 14, Japan 14 with 3 draws. But India have not just won the last 5 games, including a 4-0 win against Japan in the Women's Asian Champions Trophy. In the last 12 games, India have lost only 2. So, because of this, they were for 12-2 about 5 to 7 years back. In the last 5 years, they have managed to ensure that the head-to-head is on parity. So, last 5 games, if you look at it, India have won by convincing margins. The last time Japan had beaten India was in the Women's Asia Cup, which was in 2022. So, last 12 games, India have lost only 2. And looking at the way how they performed against Germany, it should give them a lot of confidence. Because remember, India matched toe-to-toe, pace for pace with Germany. Their circle penetrations, possession were much more than the higher ranked team in this qualifiers. So, heading into this match at 4:30 p.m. IST, India are the favorites. But Japan can also spring up a surprise because of the fact that under pressure, the India women's hockey team crumble far more. There were 2 instances. One, when there were 57 minutes up, only 3 minutes were remaining. There was a big botch up by Sonika, and she ensured that Germany got the penalty, got the goal by which it was 2-1. Luckily, Ishika Chaudhary converted the penalty corner in the 59th minute, and it went into penalty shootouts. But even in the penalty shootouts, India were 3-1 up, and they botched the remaining 2. Savita Punia was the only rock that was standing in between, and she tried all her superhuman powers to ensure that she could deny Germany. But in the end of the day, 4-3, it just did not happen. And that is why India will now have to put out all their stops. Now, a lot is riding in this particular match because remember, when they last qualified for the Olympics, it was in 2016. For the first time they qualified in 2016. 2021, they came within minutes of securing a historic medal, but that could not happen. And you saw the tears that happened after that. Now, if you look at it, Shod Marine's time was up, and then you had Yannick Schopman. Yannick Schopman now has really stressed on the fact that you have to be alert defensively. They were listless against the USA, by which they lost 1-0. But that wasn't a high pressure match at that point. But the flaws came out well into the open against Germany. 57 minutes, they had sustained pressure, one lapse in concentration. That was all it took to ensure that Germany were ahead 2-1. It took something spectacular to make it 2-2, but it will not happen every single time. Penalty shootouts are a real lottery. I mean, if you look at the India men's team, 2023, they had lost in the penalty shootouts to New Zealand, and their dream of a World Cup extended well into the 5th decade. Now, India women's team lost by one step for Paris in the semi-final shootout. Now, they will have to win Japan. So, we'll have to go by the longer route to ensure they get into Paris. But if they don't win, God forbid if they don't win today against Japan, all the hard work that you had built up for 8 years ever since Rio will come undone. The talent that is there, the way how Rani Rampal was not picked in the past 2 years, all those questions will come out in the open now. So many players have put up their hands and delivered a lot for India women's hockey. If they don't win today, then everything will be finished in one swift go. India will be the favourites today against Japan, unlike the one against Germany, where they were starting as not one of the favourites because Germany's attack was simply magnificent. Japan, on the other hand, they preferred to wait and then play along the midfield and also on the defensive line. India can break that because you got the likes of Deepika, you got the likes of Salima Tete, you got Sangeeta Kumari, all three of them. And Sangeeta Kumari and Salima Tete in particular, they have been in great form against Japan. Just ask them in the Women's Asians Champions Trophy what happened. So, in this way, in all the hopes of a billion riding on, in 4 hours' time, India will take on Japan. Win, the ticket to Paris is confirmed. Lose, heartbreak will ensure, and all the effort of 8 years will go down the drain. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. We'll be back with more updates on Sports Today. Tap that bell icon so you know when we go live. And don't forget, we're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Bye-bye.